We were new to the neighborhood actually by a couple of years, and we heard about the neighborhood monthly meeting finally. And we were invited to attend, and when we did, we saw the existing board members, which were just a couple out of the 8 positions, and they worked on us for about a year to get our interest in joining the board. So my husband did finally agree to run for president, and I guess about a year after he ran for president, then I ran for secretary. So that was in 2013 when I became secretary. We had some existing board members that stayed with us, and we've kind of rolled through a few board members, and that's how we got started. So every year we have annual elections, and every year all positions are open. There are no guarantees that they will roll over, but we do have some true vacancies right now that we've had for a while, which is the treasurer and the vice president. And then my husband and I both tendered our resignations, our retirements from the board, so that we can do other things that we need to be doing and let someone else have the fun. So president and secretary are also open. We also have 4 positions that are called quadrant leaders, and 3 of those are filled, 1 is open, and the 3 quadrant leaders are willing to continue and partner with someone else if they want to be mentored to do things like that. So the president, he opens the meeting, takes questions from the floor, kind of drives according to Robert's Rules of Order, and then closes the meeting. That's pretty much his basic duties. For the vice president, the vice president would serve when the president's not available and chair a committee if the president appointed her. And then the secretary keeps all the records and does the filings, maintains the record books according to the bylaws, and files with the city every year and with the state every other year for our good standing. And then in the absence of the president, and the vice president can also run the meeting according to how the rules of the president. And then the treasurer is responsible for keeping an accurate account of the finances and accept contributions and make deposits and give a report of the financial status at monthly meetings. The quadrant leaders are really the boots on the ground, right? They advocate for the neighbors in their quadrant. So Independence Plaza can be divided into 4 geographical areas, and the quadrant leaders kind of cover their area, and they'll advocate for their neighbors. They bring resources to their neighbors and share information. So, our pamphlets that we have, they can distribute that to their neighbors. If there's a noisy party house that's just out of control and disturbing their neighbors, then the quadrant leader can bring that to our attention. Of course, the neighbor can bring that to our attention too. We're very open to hearing from our residents. So quadrant leaders are an integral part of our board, and every board member can do the duties of a quadrant leader, but the quadrant leader will probably do more of those duties. Everyone has their own talents and skills and gifts that they would bring, right? So I might do different things than a different person would, and they'll all be wonderful. But generally, our bylaws say that the board is here to advance well-being in the community, right? So, anything that we take on has to be in line or in step with our bylaws. So that could cover a lot of things, right? So for instance, when Tom and I were early on in the board, we did very basic and simple things, and we were just learning. What does a neighborhood leader do? What are our roles? What can we take on? What do we have the bandwidth to take on? And that kind of ebbs and flows with the seasons of your life, because life happens, right? And we're just volunteers. We have full-time jobs. So we started off really basic, but then we started doing things like, I would say early on as a secretary, someone put a bug in my ear. Hey, why don't you go put in a PIAC request for park improvement over at Prospect Plaza Park? And so I did. And Parks Board was like, whoa, wait a minute. You need a master study. So we will fund your master study for $25,000. We will fund your master study, PIAC says. But then we can't do any improvements until Parks gets through that. So that started in 2013. There was a lot of stop and start there. People in the city changed positions. People in Parks changed positions. We got assigned different people that had a different agenda than what the neighborhood did, but we were pretty steady that we needed to take our park back and we needed to improve our park. So we just kept on that path. And so as people came and went, we stayed on the path. And then finally in 2018, so 5 years later, our master study was finalized and approved, and then we could begin to apply for the improvements through the PIAC funding system. We have to submit PIAC requests in segments, right? So much every year. So we are in the third year of submitting our request for the items that were on the master study. So some of the items are going to be like replace the playground equipment with rope climbing kind of playground equipment, add a skate feature, not necessarily a skate park, but some skate features to capture that audience. We're going to put in another walking trail, perhaps with some lighting along the walking trail, another water fountain between the basketball court and the what used to be the tennis court. And as you can see, we've already gotten the tennis court resurfaced into the futsal court, and it's used practically every night with teams coming in to play. And they are soccer teams that use the futsal court for practice and play, of course. And then we will get a graded junior soccer field in this corner over here. So all of those improvements are what we have to look forward to, but we're already reactivating the park with the futsal court. And Coach Hector bringing his teams out is amazing. I'm a helper. And my satisfaction comes from elevating everyone, elevating the whole. So getting the PIAC Master Study funded and getting the PIAC Master Study completed and then PIAC grants to bring good things to our neighborhood, it feels really good that I left something here, like a legacy, essentially. And it wasn't just me. Our other board members contributed to that, and we all did it together. But what I'm saying is, someone else coming in might have a different vision that fits our bylaws for, making it good in the neighborhood, and then they can take that part too. So whatever your passion is, as long as you're doing good for the neighborhood and your residents agree that that's the path they want you to be on, then go for it. So that's what neighborhood leaders do, is they listen and they do and they advocate. So what I want to say is, we started simple, we started basic, we grew with the position, we grew in knowledge, we grew in our gifts, skills, and talents that we wanted to apply to make the neighborhood better. And I would just ask you, neighbors, to consider your gifts and skills and talents and come take a turn at being a change maker, at elevating our neighborhood, at leaving a legacy for our neighborhood. Now look, we're still here, so we're not going anywhere, but we would like someone else to step up and have some fun. And it really is fun, and it's very satisfying. So I challenge you to consider what you have to bring and to look at your time that you have available to give to it, and come and grow with the neighborhood and grow in neighborhood leadership. And let's do it together.